Building society loans have been an integral part of financing structures for homes here in Germany in the past. But what are those building society loans in German Bausparvertrag? Are they any good? Why are so many people selling them? What are the pros and cons, and which questions you would need to ask the seller to make an informed decision? All this we'll be covering in this video. My name is Ajay, and in this channel I'm going to show you how to buy a house here in Germany.
Let's have a look at two use cases for a building society loan for Bausparvertrag. First one being buying a property in the near future. So I'm talking about weeks and a couple of months. And the second use case being buying a property in a couple of years, 7, 10 or 15 years even. Let's have a closer look at the first option of buying now in a couple of days and weeks. All building society loans, Bausparverträge, will be put into two different phases. Phase one is a savings phase, and the second phase is a repayment phase. Let's have a closer look. In my example, you're buying a house worth of 500,000 euros. You'll get a loan, an upfront loan of that amount from a bank, and at the same time, you'll be opening a savings account. You'll be putting money into that savings account until you reach around 40% of the 500k, in this case 200,000 euros. Now, each scheme is different, so I'm assuming 40% is the scheme or the offer you have at hand right now. Once you reach that 40%, the 200k will be used to repay the 500k loan. And the rest amount, 300,000 euros, will be repaid across another period, in this case the repayment phase. Now, there are some things which I need to draw your attention to. First one is this little triangle here, which means that your savings account in the beginning will start at negative. Around 1 to 1.6% of the 500k loan, in this case 5 to 8,000 euros, are going to be charges or opening charges. And that is something which you might not know. Second thing is that the upfront loan, you're not reducing that over the period or in the savings phase. That's going to stay constant across the 10, 12 or 15 years, whatever the duration is. And the timing here cannot be pinpointed. You cannot pinpoint and cannot be guaranteed the exact date when the loan amount of 300k will kick in. So that's going to be perhaps a waiting period, perhaps you need to wait days, perhaps even weeks to actually get the 300k loan. Let's have a look at the pros and cons. The pros are you can secure the interest rate for the next 25 to 30 years with this kind of a construct. And this might be the only option for a loan in buying a house. On the contrary, you'll have closing costs, which I already mentioned, 1.1 to 1.6% of the 500k. Second big con is that they're not repaying any of that upfront loan. So although you're saving a lot of money, in the end, up to 200,000 euros, your loan will still remain at 500k. I already mentioned the missing guarantee of a payout date. Now, you might be told a month or a quarter, but they cannot pinpoint the exact date. And if you're not careful enough and don't read the fine print, then you might be hit with a very high EMI in the repayment phase. There are also some additional costs which need to be mentioned, whether it is account maintenance charges of 12, 16 or 18 euros, but this will add up over 10 years. And although we are used to having some kind of interest on a savings account, right now the interest paid on the savings account is 0.1%. This is the second option, buying later, so in a couple of years from now. Even this one is divided into two parts. Phase one is the savings phase, phase two is the repayment one. Obviously, you'll not get a loan, upfront loan here. You'll only start with a savings account. Same example, you want to have 500k, and here as well, you'll be saving up to 40% of that 500k, which is 200,000 euros. Once you save that, and the waiting period is over, you will get a loan of 300,000 euros, which you will be repaying at a normal pace, just like a normal annuity loan. So at the point in time your savings phase is over, you will have 500,000 euros at your disposal. 200 you saved and 300 from this building society loan. Now here again, I've got the little triangle on the left-hand side, which means that your account balance in the savings phase, in the savings account, will be negative at around 1 to 1.6%, depending upon scheme, of the total building society loan contract. 500K, so you're down 5 to 8K day one. Second one, although I'm not bothered about the exact date here, but you will not be ready to buy a house of 500K in year 7 because you might have a waiting period. And here as well, you do not know the exact date when you'll get the 300K loan and thus have 500K available. So let's have a look at the pros and cons. The pro here, again, is securing the interest rate. So if you're forward-looking, if you're very risk-averse, if you want security, then a Bausparvertrag, a building society loan, is something you can look forward to. And in this case, you're forced to save. Obviously, if you can just stop saving, but then the loan, you'll not avail the loan. Hence, it's a forced saving somehow. The cons here, again, is the closing cost, 1 to 1.6%. Second con, just like the one above as well, you'll have a missing guarantee of the payout date. You'll have additional cost, just like the one above, and again, minimalistic savings of 0.1%. So the cons are almost the same like above. I've spoken a lot about the cons of a Bausparvertrag, but does it make sense at all? Is there any use case? Well, there is. Let's have a closer look. First one is building up a repair and maintenance fund. I just spoke about forced saving. Now, if you own a house, you might not put away 50 or 100 euros on a monthly basis for a maintenance fund. But what if you did use a Bausparvertrag? That could be a viable option. If you already know that you need to change your heating system in, let's say, 8 or 10 years, then why not start saving for it right now and availing a good interest loan at that point in time? Second one is modernization. Same concept. If you already know you want to change your bathroom in 7 or 10 years or 12 years, why not do it? Why not start saving now? Would make sense to have that money stashed away and not get into trouble at that point in time. The third one is there are some special schemes for homeowners, wherein some building society loan providers give you a good interest rate on an upfront loan, as well as for modernization if you already own a home, right? So preempting the modernization as well as the repair and maintenance fund I just spoke about. But those are rather small amounts. Those are rather typical. So I'm talking 10, 20, up to 50K. We'll have good schemes available. If you want to avail one of those, just get in contact with me. Now, there are some typical arguments from the guys who are selling these kind of contracts to you. What I would suggest is to at least ask them a couple of questions back and see what they say and what kind of fine print you are signing. Now, even if you don't ask them, you could have a look at your own and at least answer them for yourself so that you know what you're getting into. The first typical argument is securely low interest rate of X%. The question always is, do you need that security for 20 or 25 or 30 years? Or will you be selling the house before that? Or will you be going back to India, for example, at that point in time? So the real question is, do you need the security which you're buying with the contract? Because you're buying it. You recall the 1 to 1.6% there. Second argument is you'll get a subsidy from the government. Well, the question is, are you really eligible for it? We're speaking about 140 euros per annum as we speak of a subsidy, but only for couples who earn 70K a year or less. Some of my clients earn above that, so they won't be availing the subsidy in the first place. So check with your home loan broker or your Bausparvertrag seller on whether the subsidy is really something for you. The third one is you can take your saved money at any point in time. Well, that's true, but at which cost and what kind of waiting time is involved? So please ask the seller on what is the cost if I pull out my money in year 3, in year 5, in year 7 of the contract, and which kind of waiting period will I be getting involved in? Please get that in writing, because only that will count. Next one is you'll get a subsidy from your employer. Well, that's right as well, but the question is, are you rather a guy who plays safe? Then Bausparvertrag might be the right choice. Or are you open to other forms of investments? For example, an ETF, a mutual fund, whatever. But these things, just have a look at, is the subsidy something for you? Can you avail it? And next, are there other options available? In this case, I was speaking about the Vermögenswirksame Leistung, VL. Next one is you can save taxes if the property is a rental. Now, yes, that's true, because as an investor, I would like to have the cost of interest as high, so the amount of interest I'm paying, I would like to have that stable at a high level, so I can put that down as an expense in my income tax return. But the question is, once again, safe or risky? Do I want to play it safe and put the money into a savings account, just like in a Bausparvertrag, or am I open to other options? For example, investing that money into an insurance or an ETF. Right? Even that's possible if you speak with a bank. Right? So that's something, security, Bausparvertrag, investment and higher returns in other forms of investment there. Next one is you will not get a loan without a Bausparvertrag. Now, if you really trust the guy or the girl who's selling the Bausparvertrag to you and he's seen multiple options and showed them to you and is still saying you'll not get a loan without it, I would highly doubt that the property is really worth it. There are different methods of calculating loan to value, and in a case of a Bausparvertrag, banks see this as a bit more secure. Hence, they give more money for the same collateral, for the same security, which is the property. And if you're only getting the loan based on that reason, then the property might be overpriced and you might be paying too much for the property. So if that's the argument, I would rather not buy the property than avail the loan. The last one is other options might not make sense for you. That's a big red flag there, because if he's not shown you more than 1, 2, or 3 options in which there's also an annuity loan, then he might just be looking at selling a product to you. The reason is he's getting more commission on a Bausparvertrag than he's getting with a normal annuity loan. So have a closer look at is he selling something to you or is he really consulting you?
If you're looking to buy a house or an apartment here in Germany for own use or as an investment and are looking for a loan to finance it, I'd be happy to guide you on which type of loan fits your purpose. In the video description below, you'll find my contact form so we can get in touch. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you're informed once I upload a new video. See you next time.